be jumping into the very last Mazda Roadster event in the old Novice series here, and you know what, maybe I'll turn this... I never know exactly where I want this. I haven't been super happy with the way it's been. Let's try that for a bit. Yeah, it really doesn't need to be much more than that, does it? The whole limited slip differential thing, it was never really a huge understanding of mine. In the old Gran Turismo games, I would kind of just put whatever setting that people on the internet told me to. I was a little bit better with suspension settings, and even then I never really mastered those, but... I had so much fun with Gran Turismo 6 and 5 and 4 back when I was a kid, and of course all the old ones, but... Yeah, it's as I've gotten older and tried experimenting with all sorts of different things in Gran Turismo 6. Like, here's the thing, I'm not just talking about it because I'm... I don't know... unfocused on racing games or unwilling to spend the money. It's a little of both of those things, but mostly it's just because I really respect that game. Everyone was down on it. It wasn't as good as Gran Turismo 5, it had problems, but I really liked it. I really liked collecting cars. I didn't care how many of them were redundant. I was really happy that there were so many to collect. And then, so as the years went by, I always had my PS3, and I always came back to Gran Turismo 6, experimenting with different cars, different tracks, different ideas. Always new and different things. It never ends, and that's why I love it. And I hate to say it, but Gran Turismo Sport is sorely lacking in terms of options, but as far as, you know, the essential sports cars and iconic cars, they have, you know, the good majority here. You know, there's nothing redundant, there's nothing useless or whatever. It's a really refined game, and Gran Turismo 6 is kind of the opposite of this, and I love it all the more for it. But yeah, that was a whole rant, starting with the whole limited slip differential thing. It was basically a Nissan Skyline thing, the R35. I could never figure out where I wanted it to be. I just found a big old four-wheel drive car like that if I wanted to compete against crazy high horsepower hypercars, then I needed to have the acceleration sensitivity set fairly high. And I always had mixed feelings about that. It felt a little unnatural. Oh. As opposed to that was completely natural. Oh. A little bit of a tap there. Oh, well, somebody just came barreling in and left a big wide gap open for me, even though they kind of cut me off at the same time. Now I can just kind of chill out and follow old Orangey here. Why am I so late for that one? See, I almost feel like this is too forgiving and too relaxed, all this early stuff with all these slow cars. I feel like I just want to jump into some Le Mans stuff right away. Even some Formula 1 stuff, I wouldn't mind. I've always found the Formula 1 and Gran Turismo to be a little bit on the easier side, to be honest. Once you figure out your settings and what you want, it's just about mastering the track and mastering maneuvering against the AI, because that's the main thing, is the AI is going to be challenging when you're doing stuff like that. I mean, you just watch, if I do Le Mans or Formula 1 for a while, I come back to this and I drive totally differently. So that's the thing, sometimes you it's nice to start at the bottom if you just want to go through the whole experience, but I don't know, I just spent so much time as a kid just grinding out those Le Mans races and grinding out all those high-level challenges back in the Need for Speed games, and I just feel like my brain switches back and forth. You know, I like cars like this when I'm more chill, but I like other cars when I'm more into it. And it's a shame that there's such a linear progression point at this point that I'm basically following. See, I didn't even care at all that I didn't win that one. Now I've got to do it again. That's a nice looking silver trophy. Yeah, let's just straight up do it again. Let's just do it again. And let's bring this down a little bit because it's crazy, and let's bring this up a bit because why not? I think the fact that I was talking while I was driving meant that I was having my own autopilot take over, and my own autopilot was used to limited slip being way higher than that. And then instead of feeling like I was piloting a panther ready to pounce at the back wheels, it felt like the back wheels were just lazy and doing whatever they wanted. So now I'm trying to find a middle ground. Oops. I dialed back the maximum speed a little bit too much. No. See, when the car first twitched there, when I was trying to negotiate that corner, you could tell I was already losing control and losing confidence there, the way the car just twitched. And it's those sudden movements that are gonna make or break you on a Formula 1 track, or rather, well, pretty much anything that's over 800 horsepower, I guess. Or even over 500 horsepower. It's much more of a, you either time it right or you time it wrong, and the car just swings in the wrong direction. Staying with them, staying with the pack. Alright. Bye-bye, new Miata. It really is a shame that there's only the original one and only the brand new one. I mean, this is the perfect example of exactly what kind of variety of cars you would expect to find in this game. Whereas GT6, sure, would all be redundant. I mean, it wouldn't all be redundant, but there'd be, you know, a majority of them would be redundant, you know. So many of them being the exact same car, but it says, oh, the Japanese version versus the European version versus the American version. And they're all exactly the same, but, you know. They made, like, what, 5 good variations of the Miata, at least, between 1989 and now? So... yeah, there's something about this. Everything just feels a little bit different somehow than GT6. But of course, everybody knew that this game had a different philosophy from the onset. Well, I hope it's just as watchable, but I can guarantee you one thing. I'm gonna love this game as long as I can, and then I'm gonna run out of ideas, and I'm gonna have to go back to Gran Turismo 6. At least until I either get a PS5 or I can play GT7 in one way or another, because I should hope it comes to the old consoles, but I haven't bothered to check up on news or anything. Just can't be bothered, happy with what I got. Not since, like, 2 years ago, anyway. Oh, look at that. The AI really react, I just keep noticing, if someone's behind you or if someone's in front of you, especially if you're driving erratically like I do, they just get flustered and they try way too hard and they make mistakes that other people in the AI pack just don't. It reminds me of only one other game, and that's Juiced 2. That was the whole theme behind that, is, oh look, our AI does this. If you're right behind them, it's gonna spook them. Oh, if you're right in front of them, they're gonna be aggressive. And that was their whole thing about that particular AI system, and they incorporated it into their game modes, and so they really highlighted that for people who weren't aware of that, and I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so that's another one done, under the belt. Right on.